Um, Welcome to today's class. We want to look at the if function today and how does the if function works. So, if function is a conditional statement in Excel that allows you to pass arguments based on output of a cell and allows you to change the output of a given cells based on the previous output of another cell, and the output that is going to be what would display on the cell can vary based on what you actually inputted into the cell. I know this is kind of all confusing, but let's look at what the if function. So I have a data here that contains names, assessment, score, and verdict. So our verdict is either pass or fail. So I'll pass. I want to say anybody that scored below less than 50 is pass. It's fail rather. Anybody less than 50 is fail, and anybody greater than 50 is pass. So if I have this particular data, this is a lot of data, and I want to do a lot of stuff, how do you expect me to be going through them one after the other? I have thousands of students or hundreds of students. I cannot be checking them one after the other. Okay, this is fail, this is fail, this is pass, this is fail, this is fail, like that up to the end. What am I going to do? I'm just going to apply my if statement. Now the if statement follows it goes like this. You type your equal to, as we all know, when you are typing your function in Excel, you have to include your equal to start the function, as it's very necessary. You have your if statement, you have to click the first one, then it says logical test. What is our logical test we want to do? This is the cell we want to check and say, okay, if this is greater than, if this particular cell, by clicking this cell, or we can actually put B2, we are actually picking this cell, is greater than 50, or let me say if is less than 50, if B2, the B2 right, is less than 50, then as you can see the arguments on the if function, you always follow what is actually given. If the logical test is less than 50, next, after putting our comma next, say value if true. What would we want to put if it's true? I'll put that in an inverted comma like this. I'm not done yet, so I can just say value if true. If this is greater than 50, I need a fail. Then I'm going to come like this and say comma, and you notice it moved next to this, and say value if false. Now if you understand what I'm actually doing, it means in this argument you only have two options: is either fail or pass. So it's going to check if it's less than 50, which is fail. Anything aside that is what is pass. So we don't need to specify again that if B2 is greater than 50, because this is just two options: is either you fail or you pass. But whereby you're having more than two options, let's say you want to still separate these scores into three options. Maybe you have pass, you have fail, and you have okay, let's use grade A, B, C, and F, like in our university system. So you might actually want to do that, and you have to say, okay, if this is greater than this, put A, else if it's greater than this, put B, else if it's this, and if it's that. So you keep on specifying your condition, but in this case we just have two conditions only that we want to put, and I'll have false, comma, and I'll have pass. Yeah, and what I have to just do is just to hit my enter button. So you notice this is actually changing because I actually use the random function to generate it, so it's actually changed anytime there is a change in any cell. So let's not bother about that. So what I just actually did here was to get a random function to multiply by 100. So I'm getting a random function between 0 and 1. So I try to multiply by 100 and to seal that random function to give a whole number, in case whereby I'm getting a function, a random function, let's say 0 0.5, 0 0.7, 0 0.2, 0 point this, and multiply by 100. I have to set it to whole number. That's what enable me to get any whole number I'm actually getting here. So this is my main concern, how to use the if function. So actually this has worked. It says this person has 24 and is what, and it shows false. What will happen if we actually drag this down, or if I want to type, do I need to type the function here, function up to when my data is no? All I just have to do, notice this is b2. All I just have to do is just to come to this arrow and drag this down like this, and you're going to see, if you click on this now, you see, notice this is b3. If you click on this, you notice this is b4. So the way you are dragging it out, the cell you are referencing, the cell identifier, the identity for the cell you are referencing would also change the way you are actually dragging it down. So I'm actually dragging it down, it's going to change that way downward. So this is actually what is happening. As you can see, this person has 57, passed. This person has 25, failed. How did I put false? It actually failed, sorry. Fail. Okay, I can actually do this again. Okay, as you can see, this person has 11, it failed. This person has 76. So this is actually very easy. Imagine I'm having a lot of that. I have to do this, I have to do that. How would I have to go about it? So let's say, for in a case whereby we have more than one option, let me create, I have A, I have B, I have C, I have D, and I have F. So let me just say A is greater than 70. This should be from 55 to 769. Yes, this is actually greater than or equal to 70. This is 50, 59, 55 to 69. This should be from 50 to 54. This should be from 45 to 49, and this should be anything less than 45. So I actually want to I want to do this. This is my new what did I call it, grading system. This is my new grading system I want to use. So how am I going to write this particular, let me delete this, how am I going to write this particular stuff into this grading system? Notice that this is more than one, unlike the previous one that has one and that just has two options. This has about 4 options and I have to input it. So it's still the same pattern. I have to start with my if statement. You can either start from the top or from the bottom depending on how you understand it. But let me say logical test. What am I going to test first? I'll say if score, if this is less than 45, so I'm starting with this one. If this is less than 45, what value if true? I want to put f, if true. Then I'm going to put comma. If it's not true, which means if this is not true, it means the person has more than 45, then I have to jump to this next step. I'm going to put if statement again. So you see, the value if false is what I'm actually including my if statement. Unlike just writing fail or this thing, I have to include another if statement and say if this particular cell again is less than 49, is less than or equal to 49. Yes, so I want to actually do 49 below. Is less than or equal to 49. I'll just put comma, I'll put D, then value if false. If it's false, it should actually check another condition. If this particular cell again is less than or equal to 54, so on continuation, I have to see value if b2 is less than or equal to 54. I want to put C, and I'll have to please remember to put your value if true in what, in an inverted comma, double comma. So I'll have to just do value if false. If it's false, I actually need another if statement and say if still this is less than or equal to 69, is less than or equal to 69, then comma, I want B, comma, then that way this is what is our last option remaining. I will just say I want A. Why I'm actually doing this is because I actually captured everything. I don't need to include if statement again, because if I should include if statement and I actually put this, it's going to still require value if false. So what it's trying to do, that once I've checked for this from the beginning of the calculation, once I've checked b1 to b2, if it did not find any if this content of the cell is below 45, it should put F. If it's not below 45, which means it's above 45, it should come forward to look at if it's below 49. Once it's below 49, it's going to come back to this place and check if it's below 45. So it kind of stores this previous argument we've passed. So what this is going to check now, if it's between 45 to 49. If not, it's going to come and check if this particular one is checked. This particular one will check b2 below 54 equal to, so it's going to check through 54. Once it reaches 49, it's going to jump down to this argument, and once it reaches 45, it's going to jump down to this argument, and that's how it's going to work. And what I just have to do now is just to include A, okay, which I've already done, and I'll just have to close the bracket. Now closing the bracket, I open a lot of brackets. I open one bracket here, I open another bracket here, I opened that's 2, I open another bracket here, that's 3, I open another bracket here, that's 4. So I have to close it 4 times and I'm good. So this is actually what is going to happen, and I will just have to drag this down and do this. So you can see it's actually this 29, which shows that this person scored below this. This is 12, this is 75, the person scored above this. This is 65, the person scored between 55 to 60 to 69, which is B. And if you go through everything, which you will see is actually great. So even though you have a lot of numbers like this, you can just drag them without doing your long process and just do this, and you have an accurately grading system, an accurate grading system that's error free. Does this help you avoid a lot of error? So just imagine you have 100 students with their scores as well. Let me just do it 500, or let me do this. Okay, so what you just have to do is just to do the same thing. I'm scrolling up, I've dragged a lot. So what you just have to do is just do the same thing and just do that like that. So imagine if I wanted to actually do this manually, how long would it have took me to do this? How long would it have taken me to actually do this? Possibly days or hours or weeks, if I want to be putting them one after the other, and that does not even guarantee that it's going to be error free. So this is actually superb.